Okay. This is the start of part 2. I'm going to be looking at a request to touch on adding dark fire, flame weapon, and all these other effects to gloves as well. So let's begin with that. Let's just add it to this. Okay. Just going to add another item to spawn in with so I don't need to pick it up every time. Let's begin with dark fire. So we have a case for a valid not ranged weapon, a valid ranged weapon, and then we have everything else, which would be creature weapons. It would probably be simplest um, just to try to add it to all 3 creature weapons and gloves, if applicable. So let's make a 4th object type, and we'll call this gloves. And we'll get I'd probably gauntlet. I don't remember what the there we go, gloves. Oh, that's not the item slot. Probably hands then? Alright, let's just look at all inventory slots. Maybe I am blind. Arms. Okay. I would not have guessed that. Cool. Okay, so we'll have our gloves, and we'll just replace all this bit here using the gloves object instead. I believe that should be it, because gloves should be able to take on-hit cast spell properties, just like everything else. However, because of the way the conditionals are structured, it should only apply to the gloves if there's nothing in your main hand. So, you could easily change this. You could take out all these if statements in general just to apply it to everything at once. Um, but whatever. Okay. Let me minimize that. Okay. We got our gloves. I probably should have made that identified, but whatever. Right. It's got to be. I didn't. It's coded in the way to cast on the user. I could probably add that too, though. On hit on the gloves as well.
I didn't want to do this, but...
And there we go. That being said, let me make it allowed for casting on the gloves itself too. So that'd be part of the main function down here. So if it's an item and it's either a melee range or projectile, and it's not a self-defined range weapon, so um, ignoring stuff like darts and throwing axes. We could also add you know what? Let's format this better so it's easier to read. So we have this, and this, and this. So we probably want to add it into this. So we could say, or get object type of the target is equal to base item gloves, specifically gloves and not bracers. And in fact, we're going to want to add this to the other part up here because we don't want it to try to apply to bracers because it'll just fail anyway. And still play the visual effects. We want it to not work for that. Let's say, and our object type condition, and we want gloves to be the target, not the target, which would be the caster in this case. Okay. Let's try this one more time. Going to try to apply dark fire to the object. You don't say. Okay, let me take a look at it. Where did I mess up? If it's an item, and the object type is gloves or projectile or range weapon, and it's not one of those. Why didn't that work? Here, real quick. I'm going to tie this to a variable. We'll just call it gloves. And then just set it identify that. Save me one click. Do I have a check for whether it's equipped or not? No. It just does not like to do that. Spell failed. Run that by me one more time. I didn't change it, did I? Oops. And it's got to be base item gloves. Oh, that's stupid. No, I'm an idiot. I know what's wrong. I didn't get base item type. I got object type, which is object type item. That's the function we want to use. Whoops. And there we go. Okay. Now, copy the wrong thing. Now, when I lost functionality, I knew I fucked it up. Alright, let's try that one more time. There we go. That's what you like to see.
I will not let you do this!
That's what I get for playing a wizard. Cool. Oh yeah, leave me alone. Okay. Now let's copy these changes onto Flame Weapon, and we can move on to Greater Magic Weapon. Because these are now largely the same, I should just be able to copy this whole section here. Let's open up Flame Weapon. Like I said in the previous video, all this could be wrapped up into a single include file since the majority of this is shared. And you would pass in the spell type instead. You can save a lot of lines of code. Not that it really matters too much when there's only 2 spells that share this behavior. And for the if statement, we're going to want to grab this condition as well. That would go here. And just for readability's sake, we're going to break this up again. Nice, nice. Okay. Let's give this a shot. Okay. Let's try Flame Weapon. Let's try equipping it first. Okay. It's good to see. Good to see. Let's restart that. Maybe I should have given myself 2 pairs of gloves, huh? And let's try using it on it. Perfect. Perfect. Seems to work to me. Okay, let's take a look at Greater Magic Weapon now. Sure. See if I can find it. That looks like it. That looks like Magic Weapon. That's not Magic Weapon. Okay, let's try that again. That's probably them. That's Bless Weapon too. Could do Bless Weapon while I'm at it. That looks better. Okay. Let's do one at a time. I'll take Bless Weapon out of this. I might go on to everything outside the scope of Magic Weapon, Greater Magic Weapon, and Keen Edge and save it for maybe a part 3. Because we don't need these videos going on too long. Okay. I'm just going to do a little personal cleanup on these just to make them more readable. Oops, my touchpad is on. I don't like that. Uh, Yikes, that doesn't really do anything. Okay. Okay. So let's start with the basics, I guess. Let's get it working for ranged weapons. Mm. Wait, what was that before? Oh, duration over 3. Okay, interesting. I might do some renaming on the variables for this, because that's unnecessarily confusing. Okay. Okay, now it looks good. Okay, we're gonna start with the basics of getting it working on ranged weapons. So, for simplicity's sake, I'm gonna open up these and copy some of the logic we've already written, like getting ranged weapons are not are that are not thrown weapons. So I'm gonna put the header in, and I'm going to take the actual function body, put that in as well. For those unfamiliar, this part is not strictly necessary, um, but it helps for after you compile, you're able to view whatever comments you have above the code or above the header file. So if you see when I double click the function, it doesn't give me any information on it, but some do. If you compile it with a header and comments, you can then double click and see any notes you have. All right. So I don't like weapon. We're going to change that to target because target can be do different things. I'm basically going to split the logic again, just like I did in the other script. So I might be able to just take all of this and move it into here. I'll put it at the bottom so we don't get it mixed up with what we have already got. This will be our spell target object. Actually, I'll just one for one replace that line. Perfect. I'd like that to be below the meta magic. Okay. And then we're going to switch on whether it's a creature or an item that we're looking at. So, do we use spell ID? Yes, we do. On the item possessor of the weapon. So in this case, we'll just signal it at the target. Hang on a second. Did I miss a signal? I did. Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna fix the Darkfire and Flame Weapon scripts real quick. For those who don't know, the signal event functions are basically to alert the AI that a spell was cast at them. So, say if you implement in your module that this spell does a negative effect on hostiles. So, say if you cast Greater Magic Weapon on a Goblin, it'll give -5 to enhancement to them. But if you cast it on your allies, it would give +5. You could do something where like that, and you would change the final parameter to on a spell cast that to be hostile. You would change this to be a true, and then the AI would react accordingly to the spell being cast at them. So it's nice to just have these in. I'm going to place it right here. You know what? I copied that from the script that's got the wrong target. So we're going to change this to target, and target's going to be the possessor of the target, which I believe I already defined up here. So I'm just going to copy it. It'd be down here. visual effect. Right, target is user, and then right hand would be the possessor. So I need. Okay, I guess I didn't do it that way. All right, that's fine. Of the target. And we're going to take this and put it into flame weapon as well. So if we cast an item, we'll signal it to whoever possesses it, which is always going to be yourself. So I guess it's not too important. But other spells have it, so why not? Put that here as well. And I don't need to modify this because we just look up the spell ID in the script instead of having it set. Some spells will have that preset, and you won't want to copy between files. Though calling the get ID should always work. Okay. So we got a couple things that the file doesn't recognize, like flaming weapon, because we didn't transfer that over, and we're not going to. Though this one has this function instead, which is probably what we're going to just use. So we're going to apply eviz and edir. Viz is probably the big flash, and dir is probably the cesset positive. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to take the viz out because it's only really going to be used in uh, one place. Because we're going to wrap everything up in a function, and the second place it'll be used will just be used once. And there's no point in defining it twice. Let's take out the function calls. We just want the signal events at this point. Okay. What did I take? I took, okay. Let's put that back for now, and then come back to replacing that later. Take that out, take that out. Perfect. Okay, so we got our signal event, and we got what we're going to do to the weapon right here. Copy that, and we're going to place that here. So we're going to apply these both to the possessor of the weapon. So in this case, that would be the bottom case here. We're going to apply the visual effect eviz to the possessor of the weapon, which would be otarget in this case. Same here. Okay, and then we're going to call the function to add the enhancement to the target with that duration. This does not need to be wrapped in extra parentheses, though it also doesn't hurt. It just makes it kind of awkward to read. Okay. Variable defined without type, right, because we removed weapon. And actually, we're going to remove this whole bit. We still might want to keep this, although that looks like the same number from the other file. So I may be able to get it from the other file anyway. But we'll put it off to the side for now. We're going to take all this out. Nice. And this should now compile. And we're going to take a look at the adding of the greater enhancement effect. And note how this one doesn't have a header. You can't see what each thing represents. but it's not too important because it's pretty much all right here. So we're going to take, I'm going to change this to target. We're going to apply an enhancement bonus to the target for a duration in seconds, and then return does nothing if there's nothing after it. Okay. So how did I break it up before? Because I'd like to keep it consistent. So for an item, we're going to just apply whatever happens in the function out of the function. And if it's a creature, we're just going to apply the function to it and then sort based on that. Cool, cool. That's easy enough. That's still Flame Weapon. I don't need both these open anymore. I'm going to close Magic Weapon for now. So we're going to take this. We're going to put it on the creature section. And we'll remove it from that section and just do this to the item. So we're going to add the property to the target, which is in this case an item of this bonus. This bonus would be in caster level in this case. What all are we using caster level for? Only the bonus. So let's just name this bonus. Enhancement bonus. Alright, do we still compile or did I miss one? I missed one. Where is it? Did I miss it? What's its problem? Oh, probably F duration, because we don't have that. That's the hours to seconds here. That's passed into the other one. So we're going to take this and we're just going to pop. Okay. It's like I didn't miss one. Good. One thing to note, I'm going to change this just because it's more consistent. In terms of game balance to change this, the hours to seconds function will actually scale with whatever you have your module set to. So if you have real-time hours, then a duration of 48 hours will last 48 real hours with this function instead of the normal 48 minutes, I think. Or was that a day? Either way, this will scale with the time of your module, where for game balance purposes, I'd rather it be the same as two turns. So you could change this to turns to seconds, and then just double the duration, and that'll keep it consistent with the majority of other spells. You can obviously just change this back if you want your spells to last real days for a high level cast. Okay. I think Darkfire's turns, right? Yeah. Okay, let me retrace, find out where we're at. So if it's a creature, we're going to jump into a series of logic on switching on the item type. However, if it's an item and it's melee, and it's any ranged weapon, and it's any kind of projectile, and it's gloves, which encompasses everything that should be equipable in your right hand, and also your ammo slots and your gloves, and not a standard ranged weapon. We're going to do enhancement bonus. And no, I take that back. We're going to change this. Because you can't put enhancement bonus on projectiles. So I'm going to actually cut this part out. And we're going to need a separate case here for projectiles. And we also still want to make sure it's valid, so we need one of these. And then we're also going to want, again, your regular ranged weapons. Wait, our custom ranged weapon type, which will have a different property, which will be attack bonus. Because you also cannot put enhancement bonus on slings and crossbows and longbows and whatnot. So we'll save those cases for later, and we're just going to take a look at this one first. So we're going to apply the visual effect to the person who possesses these items. And then we are going to add the property item bonus enhancement bonus of that amount. Okay, this all looks fine. We're going to take this and we're going to drop it right in here as well. Except for projectiles, we're going to replace enhancement bonus with damage bonus. And then for a damage type, we probably want to go with damage bonus base item type. Let's see. What choices do we have? I don't know if physical will work. I doubt it, but let's... No, it shouldn't work. Why is there an item type constant for it? If that doesn't work, we'll just do a switch, because slings, I believe, are bludgeoning, and both bolts and arrows are piercing, so that should be an easy switch. Let's just try that. If we can get away with it, cool. If we can't, whatever. As for the damage bonus, you need a different constant for that. And these ones are usually out of order from the Hordes of the Underdark expansion. So 5 goes to 16. So if you plan on scaling this spell to +8 or +10, +20, you need to write a switch statement to transfer the value. But there's no constants above 10. Which means they're probably still just 21 through 30. But I wouldn't quote me on that. Most likely they'll still function. Okay. Let's just see what happens with ammunition. Did my test item have GMW on it? Yes. Okay. Right. No, okay, that makes sense. I didn't think physical was going to do anything because there's not a physical damage type. So we'll just switch on it. That's fine. Okay. We'll just say if um get base item type of target equals base item bullet else piercing. And we'll just define in here. I normally wouldn't define variables inside if statements, but for this case, it's really only being used in this part, so why not? We're going to say in type for the damage type. We'll default to the piercing in case someone has. If you have a hack packs or custom weapons and you have some other kind of range weapon, you'll need to account for those as well. But if I default it to piercing, that probably covers most range weapons. The same thing. We're going to change this to bludgeoning. I hope I'm right. I don't actually know if slings are bludgeoning. I would imagine they be, though. And instead, we'll just put in type here and allow it to pick based on the item type alone. All right, let's see it now. I'm also going to give myself ammunition of each type. Custom. Okay, let's give an arrow. Right, you can't see the right res ref unless you place them. Because editing would have to force the res ref to be something different. Take that. Save. Yeah. We should put this here. I don't care. And we'll do this one. Okay, now let's actually do this right. So here's bullets. Here is whatever that is. I don't remember which one's which. I think that was arrows. There's bolts. Okay. That was probably me hitting save and failing to. Oh. Probably want to delete that. Okay. Let's try this out on different kinds of ammo. Let's do arrows first. 3 piercing, because my enhancement is what? 10, that's 9 over 3. 10 over 3 is 3. Bolts. There we go. And let's try it on bullets. There we go, bludgeoning. It doesn't even say what damage type. Maybe I need a sling for that. Okay. I'm probably going to want to make it give me a sling and a different bow, too. Oh, I'm not going to be able to equip a bow now that I realize it. Okay, we can fix this. It's fine. Let me just pick, like, I already get a light crossbow. Longbow, whatever. Holy crap, that's tiny. Take that. I'm gonna put that in here as well. There's longbow. You know, I'm just gonna mark these. I believe it's arrow, and this is bolt. To be gloves, and we got. Oh wait, what's the line below? For some reason, I thought that was the identifying line. I did not read. Test item 1. I don't even know what the difference of them are. One of them does something. And then we need one for a sling as well. So let's get a sling. There we go. Take that, delete it. Okay, and then we're also going to apply effect to object, and this will be duration type permanent effect bonus feat on get first PC. And we're just going to do Marshall, whatever. That way I can equip the bow and not have to make it a character. That's not even it. That looks about it. Okay. Let's make sure that works. Is that sling unusable? What the hell? Slings require a weapon type? Simple does. You don't say. I thought everybody could use slings. Well, that's no problem. We'll just change this, add another one for simple. Easy. Okay. Problem solved. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna. Maybe if I examine a sling, it'll tell me what damage type. Bludgeoning, cool. Alright, then I don't need to change anything. Alright, back to the greater magic weapon. Let's fix the bow section now. Ranged weapons, I mean. So we're gonna still want the visual effect and the adding of an item property. But this item property is going to be attack bonus. Because ranged weapons can't have enhancement bonus. And it still works for damage piercing anyway, so who cares? There's no type required. We just need the amount to give and apply the visual effects. So this should cover that. And then we need an else. This guy right here. Which I guess I don't even need that. Perfect. Let's try it on some ranged weapons now. Cool. Okay. GMW. +3 attack bonus. Try a sling. Just to be sure. Let's try longbow. Perfect. Alrighty. Okay. So now we're going to want to change it. So when you equip a weapon and then cast the greater magic weapon on yourself, it should apply it to the crossbow and your ammunition at the same time. Which none of this functionality has been written, which is why it didn't work. But we still want to make sure it works on melee weapons, so let's try that. What happens if I use it on myself? Cool. As expected, and let's try it on just the weapon. It is a melee weapon. Perfect. Okay. Let's get it working on the caster themselves and your target. Maybe I should click on the right script, huh? Okay. So, for when the target is a creature, we're going to do this. Add greater enhancement effect to a weapon on the target. We're going to pass in the player, we're going to pass in the time it should last, and the bonus it should be. So, let's start with the same logic we used in the other file. Because we kind of already had it sorted out. So we have our right-hand item, our Boolean for ranged or not ranged, and we have our weapon is valid or not. So let's copy all this part in. And we're going to want this success as well. So I'm going to paste real quick, recopy with all of it, undo my changes because I don't want to keep any of that. Okay. We're going to put all our new variables into here. And now let's grab some of the conditionals. So if it is a valid weapon, but not a ranged weapon, we want to do this. So let's take the conditional itself. And what are we doing to our non-ranged weapons? Well, let's take a look down here. We've got, that would be this section here for enhancement bonus. We're going to take this. And we're going to put it right in here. So in this one, we're adding both the visual effect and the on hit. For this one, there's no visual effect associated with it, so we'll just apply the enhancement bonus. Our next conditional will be valid ranged weapons. And in this case, range specifically refers to bows and crossbows and slings. It completely ignores throwing weapons. So we're going to paste this in as well. And for ranged weapons, we're going to do the same thing as we do down here, which will be adding our attack bonus. And if we hit this, it is a successful case. Other cases are when you have something that's not that, which we're not ready to do just yet, because we also need to differentiate on projectiles. So, if we do have one of those range weapons, we want to apply the attack bonus not only to the right hand, but also to the ranged slot. So let's take the ammo slots. And we want to make sure that they're valid. And for the purpose of making it simpler, we're not going to care what ammo type is, and we're just going to check if you have one, period, and apply to all three. So if you try to cast a greater magic weapon on yourself with a crossbow, it'll still apply enhancement to bolts, arrows, and bullets. But the majority of the time when you're playing a ranged character, you're not going to be switching between the three. You'll typically just stick with one of the types. Though you could still filter it out if you want. I'm not going to. These are all successful cases, so we're going to want to transfer these as well. The purpose of the successful case means we're going to apply the visual effect of the spell, which will be down further. So if we have a valid ranged weapon, we're going to apply this. Sorry, we don't even need these actually, because we don't need to. If we already have a ranged weapon and we apply it to the bow, who cares if the ammo is in the slot or not? We're just going to. We already know it should get the effect. I didn't think that through all the way. That was unnecessary. We're going to just keep it for the bow. For when we do have ammo valid, we're going to do this part down here for the projectiles, which will be adding damage bonus. Let's take this. We'll move that into here. Okay. And we're going to change these to ammo 1, ammo 2, ammo 3, for if we have a valid ammo. We actually don't need these extra braces. Oh my goodness, I hate that. I also don't have a home and end on this keyboard, which is driving me mad. Perfect. And we're going to apply the damage bonus of the type, which in this case, since we're trying it for each ammo type anyway, we don't need to pass in a type variable. We can just use piercing or bludgeoning since we're doing it to all of them anyway. So for the case of ammo type 1, it'll be arrows. So we will put in piercing. For ammo 2, which is bolts, we're going to do piercing. And then bullets will get bludgeoning. Perfect. Let's make sure all the variables are good. We're applying to the target. We do not want to apply to the target. We want to apply to the right hand for both of these. Perfect, perfect. The way that this is written, if you have no ranged weapon equipped, it will not apply to your ammo, regardless of whether you have it equipped or not. I think that's fine. If you don't have a bow equipped and you're casting greater magic, there's no point to try to apply it to your ammunition. So I'll leave that as is, but just to be fully clear on what this is doing, it will not apply it unless you have a ranged weapon equipped. Is that every case? No, we still need creature weapons. So let's take a look at when you don't have a valid ranged weapon and you don't have a valid melee weapon. This will cover gloves and creature weapons. I don't feel like looking for these again, so I'll just copy them again. Because if I already did the work, why do the work again? Okay. Now we're going to want the same thing for the conditionals, which these are all pretty much identical, with the exception of gloves needing to double check that it's gloves and not bracers. These ones will all be the same, except it'll be 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So I believe gloves also cannot have enhancement bonus, so we'll treat it the same as a ranged weapon. And just apply attack bonus. I'll double check that here in a moment though, but I'm pretty sure you can't put enhancement on gloves. As for creature weapons, they can take enhancement. I do know that, so we're going to take that here. Put this here. We're going to change right hand to creature weapon 1. We'll take, actually, put that here and put that here. We'll change 1 to 2 and to 3. Perfect. And now we want our unsuccessful condition to spit out that string. And then we also want to apply those visual effects. Actually, I'm just going to take the else and take a look at what's already down below. I probably should have removed that earlier. So from below, we took the visual effect eviz and edir. Let's take those and put them in. And since we don't have these variables defined, we're just going to take what they're equivalent to. So viz is this one, and duration is the cesset. Perfect, perfect. Okay. What did I miss? I missed the E bonus because I called it enhancement bonus in the out of function variable name. But since it's just a parameter, I should be able to just change that and it will fix all the other ones. We also don't have an in duration because I copied that from below. So we'll change all of these to just F duration because this is the already converted time. Probably should have done that before because this is a lot to replace. In fact, you know what? I might just be able to put it automatically. Replace with that. Replace all. Just because I don't want to have another mishap. I'm just going to follow it along. I believe this. No, we're still in the function, I believe. Now we're not. And then just the one that I missed because it started on it. Here we go. I'm just going to replace this guy right here. Okay, let's see how we are. Perfect, perfect. Let's give her a whirl. I didn't even know I changed Darkfire. Okay, let's take a look. We're going to equip the crossbow and some bullets, or some bolts, I mean. Let's save myself the trouble and equip all of them. I'll put the one on. Perfect. Alright, let's try this. We're going to do Greater Magic Weapon. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. But it does appear to have worked. Which means... Let's do it again. I want to cast it on me. I might have just messed up the visual portion. Yeah, let's double check that real quick. If it's not successful, says the string. Otherwise, we apply it to the possessor of target. In this case, target is the person, so we want this to be the possessor of a right hand. But only if it's valid. So we just want to apply this to target, actually. Alright, let's try this one more time. No first tries, right? Okay. Let's equip gloves. If I... Let me make sure there's nothing on it. Do that. Looks good. Let's equip some ammo. And let's try it again. This should not work. Besides putting it on the gloves again. Should not put it on these. Let's do the crossbow. Perfect. And that should then apply it to all the ammunition as well. I didn't look at it. Perfect, perfect. Make sure it still works on melee weapons. Looking good. That should just about... Uh-oh. I don't know what that was. I don't know what that... I've never seen that before. Build scripts. Interesting. But not that one. Include too many levels. Interesting. Whatever. Okay. I'm going to ignore that. So, I would say that works just fine. Let's take a look at magic weapon. Which will be largely the same, except it only applies a bonus of 1. Which... Yeah, I think it even shares the same visuals, does it not? Yeah. Is the duration the same? The duration's the same. 83615. The floating text string is also the same. Honestly, I don't see any reason we can't just copy the entire thing over. Aside from the header, because we don't want to take away credit from whoever wrote this originally. And we'll just limit it to +1. Okay. I'll also rename it just so it's like the other one, the original one. We won't need a bonus in this case, and we're going to use that to our advantage of removing that because it'll tell us everywhere where we need to fix that. And probably the replace the function name. Where's that? There we go. Okay. And we don't need a bonus for it either. Okay, let's see where it's going to complain. We're going to replace this with an enhancement bonus of 1. 1. I'm just going to do a couple real quick. Maybe I'll get them all. So I'm not really looking very close. Alright, let's see. Perfect, got them all. The bonus doesn't exist anymore, so we can get rid of all this code. Get rid of that. The duration was the same. Yeah, that looks good to me. What did I miss? I missed a bonus because we're not giving any bonus. I forgot to change it when you cast on the item itself. So it's good that it's going to tell us all these spots too. I don't think I got them all, but let's see. I did. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to go through it real quick, double check. We got the condition for when cast on the creature. We have any melee weapon, we'll do +1 enhancement. For anything that is a projectile, we'll do 1 damage bonus. And then for anything that's a ranged weapon, we'll do 1 attack bonus. That looks good to me. Did I not save it? Okay. Let's try this out on magic weapon. So this should be +1 on everything. Since the logic is identical between these, I will just test loosely, I guess. Let's test on specific first. Okay. This is the bow. Vertical gloves. We do it on the gloves. Did I miss gloves? When casting on the item itself. Okay, we'll come back to that. Did I... Oh, I guess I missed it for GMW too. Unless it's looking at this first and that's blocking it. I want to know now. It's not. What if I take these off? Okay, that was working earlier. I must have broke something. We'll take a look at it. Okay, but let's cast it on us. That should still do the bow and not the gloves, because we have a weapon. But if I take this off, it should do the gloves. Okay. Let's take a look at what I broke. Let's take a look at GMW first. We started with that one. When casting at the item itself, or its gloves. Right. So I added gloves to this, forgetting that it can't take enhancement bonus. I think I even mentioned that, but it needs its own case. So we're going to take this out of the enhancement bonus section and move to the attack bonus section, which will be down here. So if it's an item and it's a ranged weapon or gloves, we'll do the attack bonus, and then we'll just copy this to the other file because I'm pretty sure this is all we need to do to fix it. Let's replace this right here. For readability's sake, I'm going to break these up. I usually break up on top level ands or ors. Okay. Okay. Let's try this again. Let's equip a main weapon with all the ammo, and we're going to cast it on the weapon. Perfect. That should not apply to these. Let's try it on any of these. Let's try it on the gloves. Still no. What about GMW? How did I mess that up? I'll take a look at it one more time. Let's double check them both. Okay. Greater magic weapon. This one works. We said if it's an item and it's a ranged weapon or it's gloves. Oops. We're going to apply the attack bonus. The magic weapon, I guess I messed up. An item. Oh, because I probably didn't take it out. Yeah, I didn't take it out on this one. So it triggered this one first because it's higher up in the code. That's my bad. No, that was stupid. Okay. No, I didn't change that one. All right. I'm going to try this again. I'm almost to the point where I'm just going to make it automatically equip them too. Alright, let's do magic weapon on the item. Okay, let's do it on the gloves. Good, good. And we're going to do it on me. Or let me do it on bolt first. This will do, yep, not bullets. And let's do it on me. This should cover the other two. Okay. And for these bolts, let's do it on me and see if it does both at the same time, which it should. Perfect. And just to be sure, we're going to repeat the functionality for greater weapon too. So I'll put this down here. Okay. Just to be sure, this should not apply to these when used on a melee weapon. Only when you use a ranged weapon. Let's try that again. Good. Good. This should not apply to gloves. Good. Let's take this off. Now it should. Oops, I should close this. Okay. I would say that works as intended. You know what? Just to say that I made sure. I'm going to try using all these on something that's not a weapon. So let's try that. We'll just start with Darkfire on potion. Yeah, that probably should have spit out that message. I might change something to make it do that. Okay, it does with greater magic. Okay, maybe I'm. Oh, you know what? I think I do remember not having that in Darkfire and Flame Weapon scripts. So let's add that real quick. Just gonna open all four. So Magic Weapon, we're calling this on non-successfuls when used on yourself, which should really only happen if you have nothing equipped. Nothing in your gloves, nothing in your weapons, and nothing in your... Well, no, you could have ammo on it, it would still fail, which is fine. So as long as you're not wearing anything in your main hand and you don't have gloves on, and you're not a creature with creature weapons. And then we call at the bottom. So for flame weapon, did I miss the one at the bottom? I did. Okay, so we're just gonna add that real quick. And this is actually the same text string. Perfect. And for Darkfire, just to give the user some kind of, hey, this didn't work. But it should have, pretty much. Unless you have absolutely nothing equipped that you could flame. Okay, let's just double check everything. And I'll move on to a little bonus for taking Keen off of slashing weapons. Alright, so if I cast it on myself now, it should fail, because I have nothing in my main hand, nothing in my glove slot, and I don't have creature weapons. That was Darkfire, here's Flame, GMW, and regular magic weapon. You know what? I don't like how it says melee weapon, because we're no longer applying it. Though I don't know the string references for all the different things. If there's one for doesn't have a valid any kind of weapon text string, which sucks because if I write my own, it doesn't auto translate to the other supported languages. So I could, I'm gonna leave it alone, but you could easily change this to floating text string on creature instead of passing in a number to a multi-language pre-written string. You could just give a literal string that says you must equip a valid weapon, melee weapon, ranged weapon, or gloves, something like that. But translation, whatever, I'm not going to bother. That wasn't the point of the video anyway. Okay, so let's take a look at Keen. Let's remove the slashing restriction. Great, I get to do this again. We love doing this. Oh, great. Come on. Don't do that to me. Like that either. Okay. I'm very picky about this. It's stupid, I know. Okay. That looks fine. That looks fine. Okay. This does nothing. This also does nothing. And this does nothing. Okay, like I was saying with the other script, oh, the tabs are off. Okay. This is another translated text string that covers slashing weapons. But even knowing this number doesn't help with my other concern because I can't. Because slashing doesn't make sense in the other context either. I'm going to just fix all of these spacing. Push that forward. This goes forward. That goes forward. Uh, so this is where I use Visual Studio Code. This is all probably one. Yeah, there we go. Looks good. Although I'm pretty sure this part's not going to be relevant. Okay. So since we can't apply this to ranged weapons, because you cannot put keen onto a... Actually, I'm going to confirm whether you can put it on thrown weapons or not, because I don't actually know. Well, you can't put it on darts. Can you put it on shurikens? No. Can you put it on throwing axes? No. Is there one more? Or am I think that was it. Okay. So you can't put it on throwing weapons. So we can probably get away with just using the melee weapon function, assuming this catches everything. Oops, I missed that. Okay. Apply the visual effects. The duration is 10 turns per caster level, which is an insane amount. But that's not my problem. Okay, so for slashing weapons, well, the duration really can't be 0. I'm gonna take it out, even though you could force it to be 0. But if it is 0, it's just gonna fail to do any of this anyway, so it doesn't need to skip all of it. Assuming it is a valid item that is an equipped melee weapon, let me just double check what all that covers. Should be part of this include file. Great, that helps. Come on. Okay. Oh, can you keen a magic staff? Let's double check, huh? I actually don't know if you can keen a magic staff, because there's some things you can't do with it, like taking weapon focus. Uh, sure enough, you cannot. Good stuff, good stuff. So I'm gonna make sure that one doesn't try to apply it either. Oh, did I not save? No, I did save. Right, we just didn't take this out yet. Okay. So if it is a valid weapon, so if it's valid, we're gonna do all of this. We don't need the slashing check. That was the wrong bracket, but it really doesn't matter. Going to pull this back, and we're gonna say if it's valid, melee weapon, and get base item type does not equal whatever base item magic stick. What's it called? Magic staff. There, that one. If it's valid and it's not one of these, and this will be my weapon. Signal the event. Apply the visual effect to the item possessor. Apply the duration effect to the possessor, and add keen effect to the weapon. Which, if it's only one line, there's really no point to this function existing to begin with. So we're just going to replace this entirely. And the duration, we're just gonna put this right here. Right, I don't have home on my keyboard. Okay. Looks good to me. We can now take this out because we're not using it. Let's try this on a couple different weapons. I'm not going to do every single weapon, but we'll try on some slashing weapons first. I'll just pick them up off the floor. I don't want to write more on the other script. Longsword is slashing, dagger is piercing. We'll do it on a hand axe too, why not? And let's try it on something else. Let's do a heavy flail. And maybe a morning star, which is piercing and bludgeoning. And what about... I really don't want to do an exotic, because then I gotta add it, but whatever. Okay. Alright, let's pick a scythe, why not? Okay. Let's take our pick. Okay, let's do keen. Works on a scythe. It should have before, so that's good. Hand axe, it should have worked on this before. Okay. Oh, I don't even know why I gave myself a dagger. I already had one. Should work on daggers. Perfect, perfect. Morning stars. This is actually... Oh, this is a lot for something we know is going to work. That really didn't change much. Okay, now a thought occurred to me. Does it work when you cast it on the item? I don't remember writing a case for that. Okay, it does. Is it already structured that way? Oh yeah, this function takes care of that for you. Right. Okay. So in the other scripts, the flame weapon, greater magic weapon stuff, we took that out because we're no longer looking at only melee weapons. We're looking at all kinds of weapons. So this would not, but this basically does what our other function did that sorted through what you had equipped. And I believe this covers creature weapons, but only 2 of them. If I remember correctly. You know, this is taking too long. I don't got time for this. I searched the right thing this time. Okay. Nope, gets all of them for so if target is valid and it's an item, get the item type, otherwise that, and then and if not, we're gonna move on down to here, which will be right hand, left hand, creature weapon. Why are we looking at left hand? You can't have something in the left hand and not the right hand. Okay, and then yeah, we take a look at right hand and the bonus attack for creature weapons. There is no check for the left creature weapon. So if you want to modify this on your own, you could basically just copy this and put L for that weapon too. I'm not going to modify this because I don't want to include this in and make it more complicated than this already is. Oh, I forgot to double check that it doesn't work on magic weapons. Let's do that real quick. I don't think I'm a wizard anyway, actually, so it shouldn't matter. You know, I should probably close the existing. Sometimes scripts don't work right when you go into test mode with another test already open. Sometimes they just fail to function entirely. I don't have the lore for that. Oh, okay. Let's identify that real quick. Okay. Let's do keen real quick. Failed, which is good. And if I cast it on it, failed. Perfect. Just what we want to see. It should also then fail for ranged weapons, because there's no way to put keen on ranged weapons without some kind of hack or 2DA change, because it's just not an available property. Okay. Same thing for gloves. I don't believe you can keen gloves, but I'll just double check just to. The video is pretty much coming to a close, so there's no reason not to check. Nope. Do not see it. So, good stuff. As before, the code changes for these scripts will be in the description, as well as the updated Dark Fire and Flame weapon with the gloves changes. Take care.